Hey there, and thank you so much for joining us on Weather Out West. If you haven't joined us before, this is an hour-long show where we tell you what's happening weather-wise across the western United States, 8 different cities. I'm meteorologist Ashley Ruiz, and here's what we're tracking for you today. We're going to begin on the other side of the country where winter weather conditions are gripping the Midwest and the East Coast. Over in the Great Lakes, they're suffering from brutally cold temperatures, some 20 to 30 degrees below average with dangerous sub-zero wind chills in certain parts. And while cities are bracing for these frigid temperatures, residents in places like Wisconsin are dealing with snow. Duke Carter shows us how residents there are tackling the heavy snowfall together.
At the corner of 60th and Wisconsin, people are shoveling, making sure the snow doesn't pile up too much around their homes.
I've done this area, I've done the mailbox over there, and also done that area around the edge as well.
Others, like Peter Walker, are using a snowblower to clear the accumulation.
I can basically get around and make sure nobody falls. A lot happier there's a lot more snow. I think a little concern in the early part of the year where we had all the ice dams, early snow.
Weather Watch 12 says more than 3 inches of snow hit one of the hardest hit areas, which includes Tulsa. And that's why you got crews out and about making sure that the area is cleared so that way customers can get access to stores.
And so how long have you been out shoveling, trying to get
10 minutes. Yeah, we're a team. We all work together. So Bartolotta and Salamander, myself, we're all making sure everyone can get through the sidewalk safely. You feel cold for me? I don't know, I'm tough. I'm from Wisconsin, born and bred, so we're used to this. It's not a shock.
as Wisconsinites deal with Mother Nature's snowfall?
Wisconsin wasn't the only place to get snow. New Hampshire is facing tough travel conditions as snow accumulates through mid-morning. You can see the slick streets and signs to help warn drivers because this is a continued cleanup and it's had Manchester declaring a snow emergency. Snow even made its way all the way down to Florida. Snow dusted the Florida Panhandle, but there was no significant accumulations, some on the shoulder, but temperatures continue to remain very cold there. If you're familiar with the Florida Panhandle, so think Pensacola and Pensacola Beach, saw some flurries and then a light dusting. Temperatures remain cold, and the National Weather Service issued a freeze warning for northeastern Florida, including Jacksonville in southern Georgia tonight and into Tuesday morning. Giving you a live look at Panama City in Florida. This is the far eastern portion of the Florida Panhandle where they are avoiding all of the weather action. Now, college football fans are hoping beautiful weather will last statewide in Miami, especially as the college football championship is tonight. The number 1 ranked Indiana Hoosiers will take on the 10th ranked Miami Hurricanes. The Hoosiers are looking to win their first title in school history, while the Hurricanes are trying to get their first since 2001. This will be the first time they've played each other since the 1960s. Kickoff is at 4:30. And we're kicking things off very foggy in Puget Sound. If you recall last week, it was more so east of the Cascades, including Spokane. This ridge of high pressure is more of a nuisance at this point. It brought us beautiful conditions over the weekend, but we are going to have some changing conditions. You can see from Queen Anne looking toward downtown Seattle, and then you see the mountain is off in the distance. So we can see the mountain, at least that's a good sign. Let's take you to SeaTac. This is SEA Airport, not seeing any fog there as of right now. Earlier it was just completely socked in. Let's take you to Everett. This is north of Seattle, also some dense fog, but you see the sun shining above. We have blue sky waiting for us. So let's dive into the forecast because we have, you would think, not a lot going on, but we kind of do. But first, before we take a very deep dive into the forecast, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. including the chance for some northern lights visible tonight. And I'll get into that in a minute, but cold mornings with patchy fog. This morning especially, we had widespread dense fog just all over Puget Sound and some freezing fog as well. So will we see the northern lights tonight? And I'll show you on the cloud cover forecast coming up. But from the Space Weather Prediction Center, they're saying a severe G4 geomagnetic storm is possible. They're issuing a watch for that. That would be tonight and into tomorrow. It could bring widespread aurora displays to the United States. You see on the right side of your screen that red line, that's where the viewing line would be. But when you see the reds, that's indicating a high chance to see the northern lights. It's not a guarantee. We have to see if everything lines up, but if you are going to try and look for them, of course you want to get as far away from the city lights as you can, and it's best viewed with the night mode setting on your phone camera, or even just your camera in general, away from city lights and clouds. With that being said, there is a chance we get some more clouds moving in. This is around 11 o'clock or so, and you see cloud cover varies anywhere between about 30% to 50%. So more than likely in the form of high cloud cover, which could make the sky look a little milky. Sometimes the aurora, the northern lights, look milky in the sky. So point your phone up and you might be a little surprised if you see some of the beautiful colors. So hopefully it works in our favor, but everything has to line up. This is still over about 12 hours away, so you can always find the latest on the Space Weather Prediction Center website. Let's dive into the forecast. We'll have that morning fog, blue sky waiting for us because of that ridge of high pressure, but things are still pretty stagnant. Then we get into Tuesday, patchy morning fog, and that's pretty much copy and paste each and every day. Next best chance for showers, it's not looking all too promising, but potentially into Sunday. Another view from around Washington, you see blue sky above top Hurricane Ridge on the Olympic Peninsula, as well as Paradise. We have blue sky and then some frost below. I wanted to take you above all of the clouds and the fog. You can see Mount Rainier. This is our Columbia Center Tower Cam in downtown Seattle, and it's above the clouds, so about 900 feet. And you can see Mount Rainier beautifully. And another view of, you see Elliott Bay in downtown Seattle. We have a good bit of cloud cover there. So this morning's going to be foggy. We'll have afternoon sunshine, potentially more fog developing overnight and into our Tuesday. As for going forward into our afternoon, we're going to have highs in the 40s and 50s. Closer to the coast, we'll have mid-50s. Tonight's going to be cold. Once again, we could have some areas of patchy freezing fog as well. Temperatures will be in the 20s and 30s. As for the timing of any of the fog, it's likely going to clear by about midday into the afternoon. We'll have high clouds painting the sky again. East of the Cascades, some lower clouds. Into Tuesday morning, some patchy fog. High clouds are going to paint the sky. And then Wednesday, likely some thicker clouds as this ridge really begins to back down, but then even thicker clouds into Thursday. As for Thursday, we may get brushed by a weak disturbance that could bring some showers to the coast. It's not looking likely. That was our hope for some showers, but really it's not looking likely until maybe on Sunday. But even then, again, not looking promising. As for our snow levels, they're going to come way down. We'll see if it lines up with the moisture, because if that's the case, we'll get some mountain snow. An early outlook for the NFC Championship game here in Seattle on Sunday. That blowout against the 49ers, if you recall. And speaking of the game this past Saturday, the divisional game, Rashid Shaheed's electric game-opening kickoff return, if you watched, is already rivaling another epic moment in Seahawks history, not only for its impact on the game, but on the ground in Soto. It came 15 years after Marshawn Lynch made his beastquake run against the Saints, and Lumen Field was already rocking from the pregame hype when Shaheed broke through right away. You see that there for a 95-yard kick return for a touchdown. Before the game, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network rigged up Lumen Field with 6 seismometers around the stadium. Scientists now confirm that Shaheed's touchdown run registered the most seismic activity of the game, as you can expect. Many 12s might be wondering, well, how does this moment rank with Marshawn Lynch's legendary run in 2011?
Just to put it on a scale, it shook the place from the one instrument that we have that's in the same location as the Beastquake in 2011, about the same as the Beastquake. So very similar. Our team is refining the measurement, just making sure we get it right, but I can say it was about the same as the scale of the Beastquake.
For comparison, the rumblings are similar to what was picked up when a 3.2 earthquake hit Bremerton, Washington last year. Very, very cool. I'm sure we might even see that rivalry into Sunday as well for the NFC Championship game. All right, so that stubborn ridge of high pressure that we've all been telling you about has kept eastern Washington under an inversion for several days on end and prompting an air stagnation advisory. Spokane's Thomas Patrick tells us when and if things will clear.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington, and things are looking quiet today and all week long. Funny enough, all of last week was pretty quiet weather-wise as well. Just a few moments of some fog a couple days last week. This week, no fog in the forecast, so even quieter if that was at all possible. So nothing really to track. Absolutely no storm systems anytime through the extended forecast. Dry and normal temperature-wise. You're going to see highs in the mid-30s most every day. So really, just show you a couple pictures from our mountaintops. This is Silver Mountain, and you can see the clouds sitting in the valleys down below. That's been the case with this big temperature inversion, meaning that it is colder along the lower elevations of the ground and actually warmer a few thousand feet up. And funny enough, when you have this kind of split, this will happen. This led to the fog last week, but it's not sitting so far down on the ground to create fog. So it's just some low cloud cover, but still sitting in our valleys. Then at Silver Mountain, we'll take you to Schweitzer Mountain. Again, all that cloud cover just kind of sitting below and in the valleys. I saw a couple camera images in Schweitzer Mountain where it does look a little bit foggy if you're right on that intersection of elevation. But that's just kind of the most interesting thing that's happening, is trying to figure out at what elevation exactly the clouds are laying, because it's just not going to move all day long. So here in Spokane, we're sat in the cloud cover, and it's just going to stay cool. Lows in the 20s, highs in the 30s, which is almost exactly on the averages for this time of year. Average high 35, forecasting 33. Even the lows almost match. And you're going to notice on the 7-day forecast, there is not much movement, if at all. 35 is going to be a very common temperature reading. With this very quiet and stable weather pattern, it is also known as stagnant. And because the inland northwest kind of sits in a bowl between all of the mountain ranges, that air, where the cloud cover is, funny enough, can stagnate and really add pollutants over time. We could see drops in air quality, but at the moment we're not. The AQI is still in the good range, so kind of a nothing issue for us. Just realize it might start to look a little bit more hazy over time. But honestly, it's just cloudy, more cloudy than anything. Just nothing happening across the northwest. Even late week, there's another ridge that will start to shape up, and that will keep our temperatures pretty stable overall. Really, all the action isn't even going to be on the west coast. It's going to be over the south, where there are snowstorm and ice storm possibilities. One last thing before we let you leave into the 7-day forecast is the chance for the northern lights tonight. The inland northwest does a pretty good job at having dark locations, but we will fight the cloud cover this evening. Though the geomagnetic storm, as these are called, these solar flares, were noted yesterday and will likely arrive and interact with Earth's magnetic field tonight. So that is what I noticed in forecasting this morning. And if we can get quite literally above the clouds, then we might very well be seeing the northern lights. I think those that might be camping at high elevations in North Idaho or northern Washington would have the best chance to see that overall, because it is looking pretty cloudy today, tonight, and really most of this week, with highs staying in the mid-30s.
We'll have much more coming up next. Welcome back to Weather Out West. Now it is time to head to the desert Southwest to see how things are shaping up this week and on this Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Let's check in with Ginger Jeffries with more.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries with a look at your weather out west. Last week, we were watching those records as our daytime highs were climbing well above the normal range. This week, we're watching for a little bit of a change developing overhead in the skies. Well, that's going to reveal it. I'm watching for those altocumulus clouds. They're basically these big, puffy, dark underbelly clouds that should start developing around Thursday this week. That's a sign that we've got moisture and cooler air coming our direction. Until that time, Cheryl in Litchfield Park, one of our 12 News weather watchers, sending me in this photo. Yep, we've got a couple thin clouds out there. Otherwise, our weather story continues to be sheer perfection. That means daytime highs. We don't have 80s on the board this week. Parker, I think you're going to park it at about 77, 75 in Tucson. I've got 67 in Globe, 63 in Payson, 51 in Flagstaff, about 63 in Kingman, and overhead here in Phoenix, 75 degrees. So high pressure. This continues to be our main weather story for the bulk of the week. Now, we'll see some of these thin mid-level clouds working through pretty much daily. I mean, throughout the week, they're going to kind of beef up at times. But you know what? It's what's going on off the coastline that has my attention. Area of low pressure, moisture wrapping around it. Now, this guy is not following the jet stream, so that's not something feeding down from the Pacific Northwest. This is subtropical, so tucked underneath the jet stream, a little bit warmer. But as it comes into place, yeah, we're going to get some of that cold air impact, so we could see some snow. And again, this isn't until Friday and Saturday. So snow in the higher elevations really focus on the Four Corners, but as this low passes through to the south, yep, we've got an opportunity for rain. Doesn't look like healthy rain, not very juicy shower activity, and the bulk of it should stay closer to Tucson. But I think for our White Mountains and for Phoenix, as you can see, here's over the next 7 days, the forecast map for where we should pick up some measurable rainfall, albeit on the minimal side. I mean, we're talking about well under a quarter of an inch. It looks like it's going to be really on the southeast corner of the state. Now, again, we could get a dusting of snow as well for higher elevations, but I think really the White Mountains is going to be the best bet. And we're really only talking about 20 to 30% opportunity. In the metro, we're at about 10 to 20%. Again, this is 5 days out. We're talking about Friday and Saturday. So until that time, look for sunny and mild conditions today. We'll get a couple of thin clouds here and there. All in all, numbers continue to be elevated. I mean, look at this. 68 is our normal range. Instead, we're 10 degrees above that, but also 10 degrees below the records. And these numbers are elevated across the state. I mean, 10 degrees seems to be kind of the going rate, anywhere from maybe 5 to 13 degrees above normal in Payson. So we start off your morning in the 50s. We've got a couple thin clouds out there through the noon hour, looking bright and sunny by the afternoon with highs at about 75 degrees. Higher elevations, you're going to be on a similar screenplay with some off and on clouds here and there. 50s through the work week, but then there's that slight chance at some shower activity, possibly some snow moving in by Saturday and Sunday. For the valley, it's down to only about a 10% chance on Saturday. So don't cancel your plans. Just understand your temperatures will start coming down this week, back into the upper 60s by Friday.
That sounds pretty comfortable indeed. Now let's head to Denver and check in with Kathy Sabin and Katie LaSalle. They've had some morning snow, but there are going to be some changes in the forecast. Starting tomorrow, starting to warm up. Let's see what they have to say.
Hello from Denver, Colorado. We have finally some interesting weather to talk about. We have an incoming cool front that's brought some light snow showers to the area in the past 6 to 12 hours. And this weak front may impact our drive on Monday morning. But it is a holiday for a lot of people. And we're so happy to see any amount of moisture in any shape or form, rain or snow. It'll be light snow in the northern mountains and the metro area, probably less than an inch. And it'll be done by about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. But a cold northwest flow will keep some chilly air in place today. Will be seasonal with temperatures in the mid-40s. And this is going to be it in terms of moisture. Really the most impactful weather will run from the Midwest into the Northeast today. High pressure is going to set back up over the area. So we do have a little something coming in later in the week that we're tracking as well. So finally, we do have a little bit of weather that we're watching. So we have those snow showers this morning, tapering off from north to south throughout the day today. Less than an inch of accumulation expected, and kind of a chilly afternoon with light winds coming in out of the northwest and then shifting coming in out of the southwest. We go mostly sunny by this afternoon with temperatures in the 40s. The mountains will enjoy a little bit of light snow today, but not enough that we have advisories for snow or for travel. And you'll notice the accumulation amounts for Denver look to be less than an inch. It's just impactful for the morning drive, but then again, it is a holiday for a lot of people. So temperatures will trend cold. We're in the 20s this morning, low to mid 40s this afternoon. Those are seasonal highs. We go sunshine and 50s Tuesday and Wednesday, 40s Thursday, and then a cold front will take us into the 30s on Friday. Right now, no more snow in Denver's forecast right into next weekend.
I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team's Katie LaSalle. On this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, Colorado woke up to some fresh snow from the metro to the high country. Beautiful shot over Long's Peak. I want to talk about the mountains, though, and our snowpack, because it was great to pick up any little bit of precipitation here across the state. Skies have cleared very quickly as of mid-morning. Spots like Aspen Snowmass into our central and southern mountains, though, staying dry. Our 3-day snowfall that we have seen in spots, though, not too shabby. Keystone picking up 14 inches officially. Eldora 9 inches just in the last 24 hours. 2 for Vail and 0 near Aspen Snowmass and Telluride. But unfortunately, our snowpack just continues to get worse and worse. Here we are actually at the lowest record snowpack, 58.5% of median that we have seen this time in January. So while it was great to pick up some snowfall, unfortunately, the West Coast, Colorado, it's unseasonably warm and dry still. Futurecast showing clearing skies all across the state on this Monday for Tuesday and Wednesday as well. No snow in the forecast, unfortunately. And looking at our most recent drought monitor, this was released last Thursday. We have just watched extreme to exceptional drought worsen over portions of our central mountains. So I want to look ahead at our jet stream forecast. The Northeast, totally different story. We have seen bouts of frigid air, Arctic air masses, cold and snow. But as we get into the end of the week, we'll start to see colder air move into Colorado, a better chance for a little more precipitation. But it's really looking like the Denver area, not a lot of snowfall. Next best chance for Colorado's high country, picking up some more notable, much needed snowfall looks to arrive Thursday into Friday. So we'll be watching this storm system very closely. We'll welcome it. We'll be excited for it. But you can see temperatures will be a whole lot colder. 8 degrees, the low Saturday morning. Typically, Denver sees highs in the mid-40s. Will be slightly above average as the Broncos host the Patriots. 1 p.m. in Power Field at Mile High on Sunday afternoon.
Even though Denver got some snow, as you heard Katie, they are still bracing for record low snowpack. After the break, we hear from a Colorado climatologist about why this year's been so dry. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Here's a live look in D.C. where parades are happening to honor him. Later this morning, there will be a wreath-laying ceremony to honor him. Before we go to break, we want to leave you with words from Dr. King himself. The time is always right to do what's right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Weather Out West. On this Monday, Denver has gotten a couple of teases of winter, the first one in December, and another round of snow just last week. Still, this winter is shaping up to be one of the driest on record for them. So much so, it has a lot of folks asking, what is going on? Why the no snow? Denver's Keely Chalmers talked with the state's leading weather expert about just that.
The first came in December, the second just last week. 2 rounds of low elevation snow, but only 2 after stretches of warm and dry weather is no question not normal.
We've been very starved for snow along the Front Range.
It's a warm, dry trend that Colorado State climatologist Russ Schumacher is following closely.
Really going back to about the beginning of October, I mean, it really has been exceptionally warm across Colorado.
So what is different about this winter than winters past? For one, the track of the jet stream.
We haven't had the jet stream coming down across Colorado really much at all over the last few months.
The jet stream is a narrow band of winds that steers our weather and moves storms. Normally, that weather highway brings storms right over Colorado.
We get a trough of low pressure in the western U.S. and the jet stream moves across the state and develops a storm system, and we get a bunch of snow in the mountains and maybe snow on the eastern plains. And that just really hasn't happened much.
Research has suggested climate change is shifting that jet north. The West Coast is getting hit with a lot of storms, but Colorado, not so much. The jet stream seems to be avoiding us, curving around Colorado.
And the few times we have had the jet kind of move across the state, it's been bringing the big wind rather than moisture and precipitation.
As for the warmer temperatures we've been having, Schumacher says it's really not unusual to see 60-degree days in the winter in Denver. What's unusual is the amount of 60, even 50-degree days we've had.
We know the climate's warming. We know that basically just tilts the odds towards having it be more likely to get one of these warm winters and for prolonging the above average temperatures.
The good news, at least when it comes to this winter, we still have a couple normally snowy months to go. So there is time. But just like the snow, not a lot of it.
And coming up next on Weather Out West, we'll let you know if Portland and Boise have any chance for snow, especially up in the higher elevations. Now to an update to a story we brought you earlier this month from Washington. Birch Bay's attempt to break the world record for largest polar plunge has officially fallen short, unfortunately. In a social media post by the city's Chamber of Commerce, they said Guinness World Records has ruled the effort unsuccessful. They cited 2 main reasons. An accurate starting count could not be confirmed, and portion of the participants did not meet requirements of being submerged. The record still belongs to Norway with just over 3,000 people. Despite the setback, organizers say the event was still successful in bringing the community together. Now let's take you over to Boise, Idaho. Hector Mendoza is tracking the forecast and that pesky ridge of high pressure. He'll let us know what we can expect on this holiday.
Well, it's another round of fog to start off the work week. This is a look out at the Magic Valley, specifically the Perrine Bridge in Twin Falls. Erica posted this to our Idaho Weather Watchers Facebook group, and you could just see how dense that fog is. We also saw some very slick roadways, and we're expecting that to really continue here in through the morning. We'll start to see it clear out here through the afternoon, but of course, in through the next couple of mornings, dense fog could redevelop here into the next couple of nights and mornings. So that is something we'll pay attention to. But this time, It'll be different from last week, where last week we had a little bit more of that dense fog through the Treasure Valley. This time it's going to make its way further east and through the Magic Valley. But the one thing that sticks around is going to be that stagnant air. So very dry and stagnant conditions here all the way through Thursday. And as you can see across most of the Pacific Northwest, we're seeing a lot of that really just kind of staying similar here in through the next couple of days. Now, what does that mean for us here? Here is a perfect example of what we can see and what we can expect, as we have a lot of that valley soup there. Pea soup is a thing that we can describe it. We've seen lots of dense fog and low clouds here. So of course, this is up in higher elevation through Idaho City, looking off into the Treasure Valley. And of course, you'll notice a lot more of a difference, especially as you climb up into some of those mountain spots, as we'll see a lot more of that sunshine. But down into the valley, expect lots of freezing fog, low clouds, and of course, those pollutants staying trapped in many of those valley locations. So also paying attention to air quality is going to be important. And that's all due to this inversion that's going to stick around here through Thursday. But we could see a late week pattern change. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to expect to see a huge change, but changes are coming here as we get towards the weekend. But of course, this ridge of high pressure is going to continue to dominate and keep us dry and stagnant, at least into the next week, as we talk about many of the valley spots. So looking at the 7-day forecast here for the Boise area, 32 degrees for today, 31 for tomorrow, and then we'll slowly start to climb up in some of these temperatures as we'll stay right at some of those temperatures where we could still see some frost developing through the next couple of mornings. But today and tomorrow is going to be especially important to pay attention to some of those clouds and some of that fog. If that continues and we don't see any sunshine here into the next couple of days, we are expecting to see these temperatures really struggle to climb out of those freezing temperatures. But if we do get any sort of sunshine, it'll warm up just a little bit more than what we have forecast here for the next couple of days. And as this inversion starts to break down a little bit more here as we head towards the weekend, that's when we'll see those temperatures jump up to above average temperatures into the low to mid 40s. The one thing that doesn't change is going to be those morning temperatures, as we'll stick around those mid to upper 20s here as we extend on through Saturday and Sunday. And it looks likely that no precipitation is really going to make its mark here in through the next week, possibly heading in through the beginning of next week as well. So as we look at our upper level pattern, we're going to continue with a lot of the cold temperatures and very gloomy conditions there through the valleys, and some of the mountains are going to see a lot more of that sunshine. We see a breakdown in some of that sort of ridge there, and then we're going to continue to expect maybe a chance of some precipitation that comes along here in through the weekend for many mountain spots. But for now, this is what we're going to expect to see: some of those low clouds and beautiful mountain views. This is a look out at Bogus Basin at their webcam here at their summit. And of course, I leave you with this image here, as we are going to expect to see similar conditions here heading in through the middle of the week.
Now let's head to Portland, Oregon, where Rod Hill continues to track a very long stretch of dry weather. He tells us if any rain chances return to the forecast this week or this weekend.
From a sunny Rose City on this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Monday, I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. We have ourselves another sunny day, and we are now starting to count, by the way, today becoming day 8 of not even a trace of moisture here in Portland. And it's at least possible that we go dry into the weekend. If that's the case, we could get up and tie or break the longest dry stretch in January. So once you get past 5, 6, 7 days of no rain in January, it starts to become a little unusual. And again, today will be day 8. We are looking at the beautiful sunny skies, not all of our region, but certainly a good chunk of it. Here's the Timberline Lodge camera this morning. Temperature has been in the low 40s up there and expected to reach 50 degrees today. Again, temperature aversion in place. While Timberline has been at 40 this morning, parts of the Willamette Valley, including our capital city of Salem, have been in the 20s, so quite a drastic change. This shows Timberline 50 today, Meadows 48, one of the ski resorts up on Hood, and pass level at 4,000 feet, down a little bit lower, only about 40 degrees. Wind direction up there is from the east, generally seeing winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Well, what I talked about last Friday, high pressure ridging going all the way up and around us, that keeps weather systems away. You don't get any measurable rainfall. And with an east wind flow, we often get clear skies. And that's what we have, again, up and down I-5 and also over at the coast. Now, infrared satellite imagery doesn't show it very well. But if you look carefully, you can see low cloudiness across much of eastern Washington, in the Columbia River Gorge from about Hood River through the Dalles out into Pendleton, and also spilling down over parts of central Oregon. This is that low cloud lockdown from a temperature inversion. places under these low clouds where the cloud deck's almost foggy have not been warming up. For example, the Dalles started about, well, I think it was 35 yesterday and only warmed to 37. Redmond and Bend in beautiful Central Oregon started at 25 yesterday, only warmed to 28. So we do have those areas today where if you get into them, it's just really cloudy, non-warming air. Now, the opposite of what I just spent a moment talking about is this, the sunshine along our coast. And yes, those are surfers out there from our live seaside camera. We've got one just on the edge. Okay, we can't wait forever. We've got the marine forecast showing these swells rolling in at about 4 feet today. Mid to upper 50s expected at the coast. Even down south, North Bend could be 62, 64 along our South Oregon coast. There's the frost on the grass in white in front of our state capitol this morning, where it's been in the mid 20s. And here's downtown Portland, or the downtown area, looking at the Moda Center where the Blazers play. And one more camera, that's the interstate bridge, the cross from Washington to Oregon, or vice versa, across the Columbia River this morning. Temperatures, I mentioned North Bend's going to be warm, 64 degrees. Wow. Tillamook, 59, maybe 60. There are the chillier numbers in the Dalles, 38, Pelton, 33, and then these clouds extending down into Central Oregon. If they don't break, Bend will only be around freezing today, not 43. The automated models don't really do a good job of picking up on that particular micro impact. All right, 50 today and tomorrow in Portland, all dry through Thursday. We introduce a rain chance on Friday that may or may not produce some showers in the area.
It's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a day to honor Dr. King's legacy. Here's a live look in D.C. where parades are underway right now to honor him, just steps away from where he delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. That phrase was actually improvised. It was considered one of the most famous and influential speeches of the 20th century. And we want to leave you with words from Dr. King himself, quote, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenges and controversy." We'll be right back. Welcome back to Weather Out West on this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I'm meteorologist Ashley Ruiz. Next up on the list, we're taking you to California. We'll start with Northern California to see if that pesky fog is going to clear for our friends in Sacramento. Here's Austin Castro.
Happy Monday, I'm ABC 10's Austin Castro with a look at your forecast for this week. Starting off with our regional headlines here. You can see for the coast, we're going to see some pretty sunny conditions. Here in the valley, we've been dealing with quite a bit of fog, especially in the morning hours, making for some pretty dangerous and treacherous driving conditions. As for the foothills, expecting more sunny and warm conditions. And in the Sierra, a continuation of that dry stretch. Really no rain or snow for the foreseeable future. As we take a look at Futurecast, really the only thing you're going to see here are just those lingering clouds just kind of sticking around. Not really any major rain or snow, just kind of that morning fog and those morning clouds that we become used to. As we take a look at our statewide precipitation, you can see since October 1st of 2025, we've seen a decent amount across the area, about 9.5 inches of precipitation in Sacramento, 8.5 in Stockton, and nearly 8 inches of precipitation in Modesto. And while we have had a bit of a dry stretch across much of Northern California for the last few weeks, we are still looking fairly above a departure from normal, so definitely some good news there. And as we take a look at our satellite and radar map, again, there really isn't a whole lot of activity. We've had this high pressure system that's been lingering just off the coast and really up in the Pacific Northwest area as well. That's been keeping any major storm system sort of away from our area. That's why we've been seeing some more dry conditions. So if you've been a fan of the dry weather, some good news is it is here to stick around. Now, on Monday morning, we had a dense fog advisory from the early morning hours until noon. And so this is something we're keeping track of because we've been seeing these dense fog advisories for the last several mornings. We could potentially see that as the morning fog continues. So definitely something to keep in mind here. And again, with our future cast, you can see just really some lingering clouds, no major rain, snow, or any precipitation. So hopefully you enjoy this dry weather because that's what we are going to be seeing for at least the next week. Taking a look at our temperatures for this Monday, we're going to be looking pretty seasonable. So starting in the foothills, you can see some mid to low 60s. 63s are high in Pollock Pine, 67 in Nevada City, and 67 in Forest Hill. As we move to more central California, we're looking at a high of 64 in Oakhurst, 54 in Shaver Lake, and 56 for our high in Fresno. Moving now to the Central Coast, where you can see a bit warmer over here. So we're looking at some highs in the low 70s, 72 in San Lucas, 73 in Soledad, and 73 over in Salinas. Over in the Bay Area and the Delta, we are also looking pretty cool. 63 in San Ramon, 56 in Fairfield. North State and North Coast, you're also looking a bit warmer. Inland, 71 in Redding, and 50 is the high in Eureka. And then here in the Sacramento Valley and Central Valley, we are looking pretty nice and pretty seasonable. 60s and 50s for the highs, and here in Sacramento, much more of the same 50s and 60s for your Monday MLK Day holiday. Taking a look at our regional forecast, again, no major rain or snow to speak of, really just dry conditions for pretty much all of Northern California for at least the next week. And as we take a look at your 3, 7, and 10-day forecast, really no major precipitation. I mean, hopefully you're a fan of this dry weather. Really just mostly partly cloudy conditions for the next 10 days. We're keeping an eye on any potential rainmakers, but nothing that's really giving us a solid chance of precip. A bit of a cool down as we go into next weekend. Have a great day.
Let's head down south to check in with Vanessa Paz in San Diego, where they are just seeing great weather, but things are about to change.
Happy MLK Junior Day from San Diego, California. I'm CBS 8 meteorologist Vanessa Paz. Hope you all had a lovely weekend, no matter where you spent it. Looking ahead to the start of the work week here in San Diego, we are going to have gorgeous conditions to start off the week, and then we have some changes on the way. We're talking about the potential for some rain and cooler temperatures because San Diego has been warm for the past week or so. As we take a look at weather headlines kicking off a new work week, we will have warm conditions persist now all the way through tomorrow. And then we'll have some cooling towards the middle of the week as onshore flow, winds out of the west, that cool moist air rebounds. As we take a look at Thursday, that's when we have the chance for showers, and we're talking about not one, but 2 rounds of potential rain blanketing the region all the way through the weekend. So as we fast forward, kind of concentrate on what's expected for this afternoon, we'll have winds tracking east. These are those winds that dry things out and warm the surrounding air parcels, also known as Santa Anas. That's pretty much going to be the case for this afternoon, but notice how they won't pack too much of a punch, not enough to warrant a wind advisory by any means. And then temperatures are going to be warm. So not only do we have this ridge of high pressure, also known as a dome of warm air, dominating the west, but we're also factoring in those easterly winds. Those two tied together will create warm and dry conditions, and also clear skies. So we're in the high 70s all along the inland valleys, those neighborhoods that hug the 15 freeway. Along the coastal areas, if you're looking for relief from those warm temperatures, we just head west towards the beaches. That's where we'll see mostly scattered 60s and 70s. On average, we should typically be in the high 60s. So we are going to be anywhere between 5 to 10 degrees warmer than where we should be for this time of year. So there's that ridging I talked about still dominating the west. Notice what happens. We have a cutoff low. That system's going to tap into some subtropical moisture. So it's not really going to be a cold system, more of a mild system. That's going to head east, and that's going to bring us not only clouds, but also the chance for showers around Thursday morning. Notice what happens when I fast forward Friday into Saturday. We have a secondary round of potential light showers. As of right now, the timing and totals still a bit uncertain. And as far as the percentage, it's looking at the probability of precipitation. It's anywhere between 20 to 30%. So right now, chances are quite low, but again, these numbers will change the closer we get to the end of the week. Here's what's on tap for the coastal areas. We'll be in the 70s for one day along the coastal spots, and then we'll drop down to the 60s. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday looking like some of the coolest days. The inland valleys will go from the high 70s to the high 60s by the time we get to the middle of the week. And then by the time we get to Thursday, Friday, that's when we'll actually be below average. So we should typically be in the high 60s. We'll be near that on Wednesday, and then we'll drop below normal by the time we get to the end of the week. But notice how things start to warm back up once we get into the weekend. For the mountain areas, we will stay mild. We'll see mostly scattered 70s and 60s, and then we'll see a drop in temperatures. Unfortunately, the overnight lows won't be cool enough for snow to develop. It looks like we'll stay above freezing for most of those mountain communities. We could see a flurry or two, especially for those way high elevations, but for our local neighborhoods like Julian, we'll probably just see rain. High 70s all the way through Tuesday for the deserts, mid 70s by Wednesday.
And coming up after the break, how Good Samaritans helped a cat who was shot by a crossbow. This emu that you see on your screen is back home after breaking free as a bird in Florida this month. Video shows a corporal with the St. John Sheriff Office in hot pursuit. He seems to be winging it, if you see. This is wariness of the animal's talons and beak. The corporal finally manages to handcuff the suspect, or maybe claw cuff it. He says he won't charge it with resisting arrest. You see that guy there? Maybe he's happy to be home, I would definitely say. And a stray cat is recovering after being shot by a crossbow in a San Jose neighborhood. Thankfully, some Good Samaritans stepped in to get him to the vet, with more Good Samaritans stepping in to help pay for his medical care. Lauren Martinez has the story.
A friendly neighborhood cat is recovering after being shot by a crossbow. His nickname is Huero. A woman in San Jose found him on Friday. We spoke with her daughter, Ivory Flores.
Like, why would someone do that? I mean, these are like poor little animals that can't defend themselves.
Ivory's mom posted on Nextdoor that she found Huero on Friday night, but didn't have a car to take him to an emergency vet. Sunnyvale resident Allison Flutie saw the post and stepped in to help. Around midnight, she took Huero to a veterinary hospital. Staff there removed a 6-inch crossbow bolt that went through the base of his tail. Flutie fronted the bill of $1,600.
I figured, like, worst case scenario, I have 6 months to pay it off without interest.
Flutie created a GoFundMe to cover the cost and to help other cats. She's using extra funds to help trap, neuter, and return stray cats. Some of them are likely Huero's siblings. Wednesday, she said she trapped 13 cats in the East San Jose neighborhood.
It's just another reason why I want to get more of the cats fixed, like in his neighborhood, because I don't want there to be more victims of that kind of like targeted violence against animals.
The Flores family said they found this on Wednesday morning. It's the same kind of crossbow bolt that hit Huero. It's about the size of a dart.
They found it in their backyard.
Sad that we have people like that in our neighborhood because, you know, there's a whole bunch of, you know, cats in this neighborhood. So it's just kind of like the fact that someone's out there with these intentions is, you know, kind of scary.
The rescued kittens and cats will receive spay and neuter surgeries at the San Jose Animal Care Center and local clinics. Huero is being cared by the Flores family and is expected to be fully recovered in 2 weeks. In San Jose, Lauren Martinez, ABC 7 News.
Oh, so thankful for those people helping out, and hopefully he finds a nice home, safe home. That's going to do it for us here on Weather Out West on this Monday. I'm Ashley Ruiz, and as always, we want to thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again tomorrow.